Donetsk and Sobolivka in Kharkiv. The Russian Defence Ministry claimed its forces liberated both villages, which were previously home to around 500 people. Piddubne is located just 7 kilometres from the Dnipropetrovsk region, while Sobolivka lies 3 kilometres west of Kupiansk. This marks another significant step in Russia's ongoing advance, with gains increasing over the past 3 months. The Russian military has intensified its push, making its largest territorial advances since November of last year. Ukraine has yet to comment on Russia's claims. The situation on the ground remains tense, with both sides engaged in heavy fighting along the front lines. Analysts continue to monitor these developments closely as Russia continues its military efforts in eastern Ukraine. While joining us to discuss these developments, Peter Baum, foreign editor of the weekly Blitz, joining us from London. Peter, as always, thank you for being here. Further reported gains by Russia on the battlefield amidst calls for a ceasefire, with Putin's forces, according to them, moving forward and making further gain. What's the impact of that on potential peace talks and wider security in Europe?
Yeah, indeed. I must say, if true, and I think these Russian claims are true, there has been a significant push by the Russian military, by the Russian government, to put the pressure on Ukraine to such an extent that, frankly, Donald Trump's efforts of bringing the two parties together and putting pressure on President Vladimir Putin have proved to be, have had no influence at all. It's clear that despite the quite incredible Ukrainian successes that they had militarily about 2 months ago, Russia has wiped itself down, got rid and replaced of some military heads, and the right wing, let's say, of the Putin government are continuing with their bombardment of Ukraine. It's been quite staggering the amount of territorial gains that Russia has made in the last couple of weeks alone. Ukraine are clearly under pressure, their cities are under bombardment, and it looks as if Russia militarily is gaining the upper hand. How the EU and how President Trump will respond to this latest gains, we're yet to see. But something that was, I thought, very significant was a statement made by the Chinese foreign minister just a couple of days ago to members of the EU senior diplomats, saying that China will not allow Russia to lose this war. I thought that was the most significant statement, given very little coverage over here in the mainstream media, but I thought that was a significant development from China.
Yes, Peter, absolutely. Stay with us. We continue to talk about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia's Defence Ministry reported today that its anti-aircraft systems downed 120 Ukrainian drones overnight. The majority of these drones were intercepted in regions bordering Ukraine, including Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod and Oriol. No damage or casualties were reported. The drones were part of Ukraine's ongoing efforts to strike deep inside Russian territory. The intercepted drones include 30 in Bryansk, 29 in Kursk and 17 in Belgorod. The Oriol region, also targeted, has been hit by previous drone attacks aimed at Russian oil facilities. Following the drone attacks, Russia's Civil Aviation Authority lifted temporary restrictions on air traffic in several cities, including Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kaluga and others. Well, Peter, bringing you back in, thank you for staying with us. Let's look at these Russian reports. 120 drones, they say they have downed, saying no damage, no casualties. Do you think that is the case? We often get limited reporting through from Russia. And is this a signal, if it is true, of the might of the Russian military assets versus Ukraine, who, of course, are facing a pause from the US and questions about support from Europe?
Indeed. If it is true, it's a significant development. But we must take the reports from Russia with a little bit of... we've got to be very careful about what the truth is and what isn't. Probably there has been some damage to Russian infrastructure and Russian cities, but clearly from the not only the reports coming out today, but from the last few days, it seems that Russia are gaining the upper hand. Now, this puts Zelensky under huge pressure because for the moment, Europe have not seemed to be diplomatically supporting him with the kind of commentary and statements that one would expect after such Russian military gains. There's been very quiet on the diplomatic front, and it should be of a concern to those who are, let's say, pro-Ukrainian in this effort, as to why there hasn't been more diplomatic support from Trump, from the EU, and indeed what Ukrainians' response will be militarily if these Russian claims turn out to be true. The latest developments should be very concerning for Ukraine and her allies.
Peter, thank you ever so much for joining us.